All right, we are recording. Hello, on your best behavior, everybody. Well, I think I have been introduced through the Facebook event, but I'm just going to do it again. So my name is Becky Murdoch, and I am hanging out here in California. So it is 4:30 over here. And Erica asked me to talk about kind of growing our business through different social media platforms. So I know many of us are really comfortable or familiar with Facebook, but I also want to take some time to kind of go through some of those other platforms. So here's kind of what I was thinking for our time together was going to look like. So the first thing I want to do is kind of just give like overarching social media, like my vision in general over how I approach utilizing Facebook, and then specifically Instagram and YouTube. That's where we're going to be spending a good chunk of our time. And then I'm going to go into kind of each of those with a little bit more detail. So first I'm going to talk about Instagram, and then I'm going to talk about YouTube. And then at the end, if we have time, I want to be able to just kind of give some editing, just a couple of like apps and tips and tricks that I've learned while I've been editing for some of for the content on those channels. And then at the end, I want to be able to ask or answer the questions that you have. So if you do have a question that comes up as I'm kind of going through this quickly, write it down and jot it down. So that way, if I don't cover it, we can come back to it and I can answer your question. And I'm hopefully going to be able to do some screen sharing. So we're gonna take a peek at my Instagram. We're gonna take a peek at my YouTube. So that way you can kind of see what I'm doing, hopefully as a way to kind of give you some ideas of some of the steps that you want to take too. Okay. So the first thing I want to preface that with is to remember that when we come to learn about something new, it's usually because we feel like we're a novice and we're going to someone who's the expert, right? And so I don't want to say that I am an expert, on this by any means, but I'm on year 5 of my 31 journey. So I started back in April or August of 2014, and so I've been working these social media channels, specifically Instagram and YouTube, really intentionally for probably the last 3 years. So what I would hate to have happen is for you to see something on a screen grab, or you to see what I'm doing, or you're like, she has how many people subscribed, or that sort of thing, and then kind of mentally check out. Keep this in the back of your mind. Like this is year 5. Like you're seeing me year 5 of this whole process. And you're on this call or you're catching this recording because you want to get better at it. And so keep that in mind, and don't use kind of what you see or what you hear as something that would overwhelm you or like make you feel not as confident, but as a way to like take a couple of things of like, this is the first step I want to do, and then this is the next step that I want to do, and then the next step after that. Okay. And I'll kind of share how I started building these like as we go. Okay. So the whole reason that I started getting into things like Instagram and YouTube is because Facebook was being wonky, right? And if you've been, part of 31 or part of Facebook, for any sort of time, we were putting a lot of us were putting all of our eggs in the Facebook basket, and then we were landing in jail, and we were getting our, profile, we were losing our profiles. And so it kind of scared me into the thing that if Facebook was to turn off, I would lose a lot of my business because I didn't diversify myself enough to be seen in other places. So the reason that I started building on Instagram and YouTube and other social media channels is because I didn't want to put all of my eggs in the Facebook basket. Okay. And so when you're hearing all of this, I would say pick one. When I started with a closed customer group, and then I worked to a Facebook business page, and then I started on Instagram, and then I started on YouTube. So pick one, get that ball rolling, and then start adding to that your other things, okay? So that's why I got started with using these other platforms. And when it comes down to it, and what I was saying at the beginning of kind of the overarching theme of social media, and this is true of Facebook, this is true of Instagram, this is true of YouTube, is the purpose of these social media channels is relationships. No one's coming onto Facebook to be sold a product. They're not coming on there being like, oh, what can I buy today? They're coming on there to get to know other people, right? They're coming on there to see kiddos' photos and to, you know, find out which celebrity, you know, did whatever. And so that should be the heart of anything that we're coming across on any of these YouTube channels is relationships. If we're just pushing sales, none of this is going to work. And there's 2 questions that I ask myself to help me remember to stay on track with that. Okay. And so these are 2 questions you want to like make sure you have written down or keep in the back of your head when you're thinking about these different platforms. The first question is, what does she need from me? So she is our customer, okay? And so what does she need from me? And so for me, I sell solutions. I don't sell a large utility tote. I sell the ability to get from the car to the house with after the grocery store in one trip. Now that happens to be a large utility tote, but I'm not going to say buy a large utility tote. I'm going to say look at what you can do to make grocery shopping easier. That's what I'm doing when I'm talking about products and things like that. So that's the first question is, what does she need help with? Okay, and that's going to be 31 related. That's also going to be non-31 related, which you're going to see on my Instagram in just a little bit. Okay. The second question is, how can I get her to know me, to like me, and to trust me? No. Building relationships on social media can be really hard. And people aren't going to buy from us if they don't know us, if they don't like us, and if they don't trust us. And so social media gives me the opportunity to develop that know, like, and trust. How can she get to know me? How can she get to like me? And then from those, how can she get to trust me to know that I'm looking out for her best interest, which kind of goes back to question number 1, okay? So those are the 2 kind of questions to be thinking about as you're building that social media presence, regardless of the platform that you're using, okay? So let me see if I can screen share, because we're gonna hop onto Instagram first. I think I can do it. Oh my gosh. Did I do it? Did I do it? I'm a tech genius, y'all. Aren't you so glad you're trusting me with your social media? Okay, so this is my Instagram. Now, here's a couple of things that I want to know. And I'm going to go over some general stuff, and then I'm going to go over some of the basics, okay? So take a look right here. Is there anything up here, other than this little picture about 31, that says anything about 31? The answer is no. There you go. I see you, Becky. Becky always has the right answers, okay? Because for me, and every Instagram, you know, training is going to have different things. So I'm going to share what I do, and you can figure out if it works for you. For me, it's about me first, and then it's about 31. And that's a really key component because, you know, everybody has the same catalog that we're all selling out of. Everyone has the same, you know, soft utility or small utility tote and large utility tote. But what's going to make her stop and interact with my Instagram is me. And so if you go through the scroll, so you can see there's me, and then you can see, I'm just going to scroll through my feed here. You see 31 products. You see a large utility tote here. You see the name of this product that I don't remember here. You see a double duty caddy here. You see products, but the majority of the time you see me, because that's the know, like, and trust factor, right? So what I always recommend when you're kind of going through this, when you're doing Instagram or even Facebook, is just to do a scroll check on your own feed. The 80-20 rule, which some of us may have heard before, is that 80% of our posts should be relationship building, 20% of those should be like selling, right? So if you're looking through the feed, if you're looking through your feed, that's kind of what you want to do. Look at the last 10 posts and look at how many were relationship building and then how many were sales, okay? So you can see, like, I do have some products here and I've got, you know, other things, but when people are looking through this, they're seeing me. They're getting to know me. Hopefully they're getting to like me, because when that happens, then they get to trust me. And so there's a few things that I do to make that happen. So I have some reviews that are here. This was just a graphic that I made in Canva, and I ask my customers to post a review, and then I take that and I make it into a graphic, because that's part of the trust factor. Is for them to hear what other people think of me is a lot better than for them to be thinking about what I think of me. So you've got that. And then I have, some stock photos, but then I also have, like, that was our Christmas card photo last year. So there's a lot of me in there. And you can tell a lot of things just by looking at this Instagram, right? You can tell that I love coffee, right? You can tell that I'm a mom of 2 little. And so that helps get the know, like, and trust factor in there too, because she's like, oh, she's a mom with little kids too. What I like to say right here, the posts part, this post part of Instagram is more of like the magazine of life, because this is what people are scrolling through, sort of thing. So like flipping through a magazine and they're kind of seeing things, that sort of thing. And then up here with stories, that's like the behind the scenes of it all. So this, honestly, this is where I develop a lot more of my relationships. And I'm just going to click on it so you can see. And it's mind blowing, y'all. I'm cooking
solo for dinner, so he's rounding up this Italian turkey sausage.
But again, that goes back to question number 1. What does she need help with? So my customer needs easy recipes that her kids can cook. So I did a little Facebook, or I did a little Insta story that was getting her, here's an easy recipe that you can do. And then in here, these are my Instagram story highlights. So if you're not familiar with Instagram, these stories will stay for about 24 hours and then they fall off. But if you want them to stay a little longer, then you can create a highlight and you can categorize them, so that way people can go back to them later. So I've got travel tips here. I've got the bag spotlight, helping with the know, like, and trust factor. I've got my fam bam, reviews, helping with the know, like, and trust factor, bag lady life. So this is like behind the scenes stuff. So stuff with conference or hosting a meeting, things like that. Work hacks or productivity hacks. Again, the question that I have is, what does she need help with, right? Does she need help like with mom hacks? Does she need help with recipes? Does she need help organizing her desk or organizing her pantry? Okay. I also use in my bio this little part right here. So it says organizing ideas with Becky. This is kind of like just like a real quick tip. Most people will put their name right here, and they'll just put and I used to have it. It just said Becky Murdoch. Don't do that. This is valuable real estate. So if you have Instagram, take a peek at that, because when you comment on something or when people pull up your profile, this is one of the first things they're going to see. And so you want to give them a little nugget as to what they're going to kind of get a glimpse into. Okay. And then I have Linktree, and I'll show you what the Linktree is. So you click on that. It's just Linktree. I think it's linkt.ee. And it's just a way to organize some like outside links. So I have different ways for them to get a hold, different ways for them to get a hold of me, and different ways to connect with them, the know, like, and trust factor. So I did a gratitude challenge in November. Are you planning fall travel, retail therapy, right? It's not all about 31 products, but it is about what does she need help with and how can I help with that, okay? All right, I'm gonna move to YouTube. Ready? We're flying at a pace. Okay, so here's YouTube. Ta-da, there I am once again, right? So hopefully you see some of the same things. So you see there's my face, and I have a friend who's a photographer, and so we, she makes me look good. I love it. But here's what I do is I make sure that all of my social media channels are connecting to one another. So if she finds me on Facebook, then she can also kind of go down the rabbit hole and get connected to Instagram. If she sees me on Instagram, then she can also go down the rabbit hole and get me connected to YouTube. Okay. Now I want to say that, and the next thing I'm going to say, it sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but let me get through my little, is that what we want to do is we don't want to have the same content on every single channel. So we don't want to take what I've seen a common mistake have is you do a Facebook Live on Facebook, and I'm going to scroll, like just scroll through some of this. You can see we have you post a video on Facebook, and then you immediately have it uploaded to YouTube, and then you immediately have it go to Instagram. And so one video covers 3 different channels, okay? It sounds like a really productive idea, but what actually does happen is we're training our followers to only follow us on one channel because they're hearing the same information 3 different times, right? So for me, my organizing ideas, my Instagram is I do a lot of stuff on stories here because they get to kind of see me every day. YouTube is where I have a lot of the tutorials and team training and things like that. And then Facebook is where I'm doing like more games and interaction and relationship building that way, okay? So my YouTube channel, I have a few different playlists. And so when I first started, I just loaded them all up there, okay? So I have a few different playlists. And so that way, if someone does come to my YouTube channel, they can see kind of what they want to get involved in. So here's my Team Limitless training videos. And so that's where my team can go. This is a new playlist that I'm working on called How Much Does It Hold? And so it is, it's mesmerizing. There's my daughter. So a lot of times our customers, what is something she needs from us? She needs to know how much a Fresh Market thermal holds, right? And so we're just going, she's really excited about it. I've got a star in the making. I 100% acknowledge that. So she keeps going. So it holds a lot, right? So that's like the new playlist that I'm working on right now. And then I have some products and demos, and then how I organize. So these are more like Facebook Live. And then I don't know if you knew this, but you can make a playlist using other people's videos. So this is training in Spanish. So I partnered with another consultant, and I gave her some of my training videos, and she translated them and put them in Spanish, put them on her YouTube channel, and then we both have them to share. So these are her YouTube videos that then I can utilize for my team if I want to, okay? So I'm gonna stop sharing and come back to y'all. Hello. Okay. There's so many different ways to get started with YouTube. There's so many different ways you can get started with using YouTube, like what videos do I put up, whatever. And this is where I'm going to say something that might sound like it's contradicting itself, but hear me out, is just start. We're never going to get better at something until we just rip off the Band-Aid and do it scared. Like if you're waiting for the time where you're not going to feel fearful in front of the camera, like we're going to be waiting a long time. Like I promise, just do it scared. We get better every time. If you want to see one of my very first videos to feel better about yourself, send me a message and I will give you 3 minutes of awkward laughter. I mean, it's painful, but I just did it. And then every time I got better, right? Again, you're seeing year 5 of this, okay? So just start. Pick a product, pick something from Retirement Island, and go live and share it, okay? Now, what I will say, and this is where it sounds like I'm contradicting myself, is you can reuse and repurpose videos to use in a multitude of ways. So that How Much Does It Hold video, that was something that it started as an Instagram. It started as on Instagram. And then a few weeks later, I repurposed it onto my business page on Facebook. And then a couple weeks after that, then it uploaded to YouTube. So it's not like you can't use any of the same content, but you don't want people to feel like they're getting the same information all of these other places, right? There's things on Facebook that they're not going to get on YouTube. There's things on my Instagram stories that they're not going to get on Facebook. So you want to make sure we want to give them a reason that they're going through these different social media channels to be able to follow you along the way. Because when they're following you on all of those things, then we've got the know, like, and trust factor. We're building that up even more. Okay. So again,
Becky, can I ask something real quick?
Yeah.
Do you share all of your stories that are on Instagram to Facebook?
No.
Okay. I guess that's a bad thing, right?
I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing. It's like I look at those Instagram stories as just like really quick, like one and done type of things. So again, if you can repurpose it for something else. So I did an Instagram story where it was like frequently asked questions about being a bag lady. And then I saved them all together and I uploaded it to YouTube. Like, I don't think it's necessarily bad to do that. What I would want to make sure that we do is we're not posting it all in the same place at the exact same time to give our customers or our followers a reason to stop following us on certain channels. I never want my customers to think, oh, she just posted that on Instagram, so I don't need to follow her on Facebook anymore. Or, oh, if I subscribe to her YouTube channel, then I don't have to be in her customer group because she just posts the same stuff there anyway. They may see some crossover, but I don't want them to feel like it's just a repetition over and over and over again. Does that answer your question? Okay, cool. Okay, so a couple of editing and graphics apps, and then I'm going to go to questions because I do see some stuff in the chat. So Canva is a really fantastic resource. And if you're thinking about really stepping up your branding game and graphics game, I pay for the like the premium one, and that allows me to upload my own fonts and I don't know, like use glitter on it. I don't know what it does. But I can like have some preset fonts and preset colors, because you probably noticed on Instagram and YouTube that I have some similar colors, right? I have some similar fonts. You kind of see that same thing throughout. And that totally organizes, Becky, that little like, you know, wording. That was just something that I made in where did I make it? I made it in Canva. So it was not very difficult at all. Okay. The other thing that I use, so I use Canva. I have an app on my phone called WordSwag. And so what I love about WordSwag, it's a paid app. But what I love about WordSwag is it really takes the guesswork out, because you can create an image and then it'll say, do you want to use this for Insta Story or Instagram or a Facebook post? And then it'll automatically size it for you. And I think there is a fee with that now. And then the video editing software, because I know Renee was asking about that. The video editing software that I do use is called Video Pad Editor. I think I paid like $50 flat to use it, and now I can use it. I was using whatever the software was, like Movie Maker on my computer, and then Windows got rid of Movie Maker and they didn't consult me, so I was really upset about that. But let me show you a little trick that I do when it comes to, let's see if I can pull, let's see, I'm going to screen share with y'all again.
Hi there, it's Becky Murdoch, and this is how to enter a retail order.
Hang on. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen again? Okay, cool. Okay, let me find a video. And then, because this is probably something that I get the most questions about. And let's see. Oh, there's my face. There I am in all my glory. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to the end. I think it's going to be at the end of this one. See how there's like stock images in there too, but a lot of it's my face. Okay, so this is an image that I made in Canva that I just uploaded using VideoPad. Oh, and there it is. Okay, so this is one of the questions that I get asked almost all the time. And they're like my end credit slides, okay? And the ease of this, I'm gonna like legit blow your mind with how easy this is. So doesn't that look so fancy? Like, oh my gosh, Becky is so professional. Nope, I promise I'm not. Make sure that's paused. Okay, so here's what I do. So in Canva, can you still see the screen? So in Canva, I made these end slide designs, and Canva has like a YouTube like cover art. So I have 4 images that I use. I have this one. So here's number 1, here's number 2, here's number 3, here's number 4. So when I go into my editing software, VideoPad Editor, or you could probably use it with different editing pads, all I'm doing is adding these images one at a time. And what it looks like is like this fantastic like end credits, you know, of like all of the different ways to get a hold of me. But all it is this 4 images, and the video is just playing. So first it shows this one, and then it shows this one, and then it shows this one, and then it shows this one. So it's what I do, and you can see what I have in my downloads. I just have a little folder that says end slide designs, and then every time I go to edit a video, I literally will just control, like I'll just add these slides to the video, and then it plays them, and it looks like I have end slide. I have like end slide, and there's my face. Amazing. Okay. All right. Clear as mud? Just kidding. All right, I think I see, let me see if I can see a couple of questions. Okay, I see Renee. Renee was doing, I like the review idea. I love your brand over both platforms. I love it. And then I don't know what that is, but it looks like maybe Nemo fishies. Okay, so what questions, we have about 6 or 7 minutes left. What questions can I answer for you? Or what was something that I covered that you need more detail about, or that I didn't cover at all and you were kind of hoping you were going to get out of this? Is the video pad an app or a website you edit from? It's I use it on my desktop. So there, I know that people do have editing stuff or editing software that they use on their phone. Like I know a lot of people who use like iMovie just on their phone. Video pad is just something that someone recommended to me. I took a video editing class that kind of went over some of that, you know, some of that basic stuff, and they recommended video pad, and so I just said okay. I didn't have to think about it. So then I just bought it and kept on with my day. But you could, if you only have a phone, you could do it only with a phone. I just don't. Good question.
So I have never created a YouTube video. Can you like just show me how you would like upload one, like how you would even start?
Yeah.
Like total newbie here with YouTube. So
yeah. Okay. Should I screen share again? All right, we're back to my face. Look how cute I am. Okay, so there's all sorts of things that you can do in the beginning to kind of get your channel ready. I feel like I'm sticking my tongue out at myself. So you're gonna go up here. If you have Gmail, it'll show you that same picture right here. You go to your channel. Oh, let's close that up. And then up here, you have the option to create a video or to post. So YouTube has this new YouTube Live feature that I have never used yet because it terrifies me. I'm working on other things right now. And then you would just upload a video. So then when you upload a video, you pull it from your computer, or you can also upload it directly from your phone. But what I like to do is edit it so I can have a cover art, and I can have those end slides. So I usually do this from my computer. So you find the file that you want. And so I have a lot of selfies. So I just have a whole roll of things. And so then you can drag it or drop it, or you can put it in here and then it'll upload it for you. You can give it a title, you can do all those sorts of things, and then you would post it.
Hey, Becky, back to your homepage on your YouTube. What size of photo did you use in Canva to create your banner photo for your YouTube channel? Because I made one a long time ago. Like I started a YouTube channel a long time ago for my team, but I just really need to go in and edit it and like start something new. But I could never figure out the right size of photo to make.
Yeah, and that's one of the ones that I haven't found the template for it. So honestly, it was like a trial and error. So I did the YouTube, I think it was like YouTube cover art graphic on Canva. And then I probably just went through and edited stuff, like moved the fonts around and things like that. So I can look up what I used on mine on Canva and then maybe just like drop it in the event comments or something like that. But I know that one specifically did take a little more trial and error. The cover art and the end slides, those ones were super easy because it was just like right on their YouTube, YouTube channel art. It was like done, perfect. YouTube cover, done. That the banner cover, that one was a little more difficult.
Okay, that's kind of what I had done too. Like I just kept making them and editing and making and editing, but it took forever. So I was like, maybe I'm missing it.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe we could both be missing it. So if anyone knows,
well,
if
Tell-
anyone makes the channel art and then it's super easy, y'all need to let us know.
It's helpful to know there's the other one there for the slides. My other question is, does your videos take forever in a day to upload? Because I mean, even a 5-minute video for me takes 20 minutes or like 2 hours to upload for some reason on my computer.
Like uploading it to your YouTube channel?
Yeah, like I recorded a video and I uploaded it, but it takes like 2 hours to upload, and it was only like 5 or 10 minutes long.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. I think that's just like a question of like internet stuff. I know later at night, like Wi-Fi connection, I know later at night, my Wi-Fi is usually a little bit slower than in the morning, or like in the middle of the day. I think because not very many people are home, versus at night when people are like streaming, videos and, all that kind of stuff. So maybe try a couple of different times during the day, or get up early and just upload stuff, or upload a video, then go to bed and come back and finish it up. I've done that before on some of the longer videos. But yeah, I think that would just kind of be figuring out the Wi-Fi connection.
Well, that leads me into one of my questions is there like a magic length? Like what's too long, what's too short? Like what have you found is a good length video?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've heard, people talk about like Facebook making sure it's like a 10-minute live, so then people are on and catching on. What I found is that the videos that I see that get the most views are usually the ones that start right away providing content. So, it's not like when we maybe go live and we're like, okay, I'm just going to wait for a few minutes for people to hop on, and kind of like what we did in the beginning of this Zoom, and like people kind of vamp. Anybody who's watching it later on is like, get to the point, honey. But if I just immediately start going into content, or I start telling them like, hey, so tonight we're going to be talking about the Fresh Market Thermal, or tonight I want to show you 3 different ways to organize your pantry, and give them what they're going to expect right at the beginning. I think for me, that's more of the magic key than like a specific video length. The other thing that I used to do a lot and I've stopped doing is when I go on live, I'll say, I'm just going to talk real quick about da 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 da, and then I end up babbling for like 15 minutes, because that's the know, like, and trust factor, right? I want them to trust me, so I have to mean what I say. So I've tried not to say, I'm going to talk for 10 minutes about this, but I'll rather say, I'm going to make 2 main points of how you can da 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 da. Because for me, that works much better in keeping with my word than giving a time length.
I will say, when I'm looking for a video on YouTube, like if I'm looking for a product review for a customer, I most likely will click on a video that's 5 minutes or less than if it's longer, just because I know it's quick and short and to the point. And then Erica, I don't know which breakout you did at Summit, but in the YouTube class, she said that the magic time was like 5 minutes or less, because that's where people's attention, they start to lose attention after that. So I don't know how true that is, but that was just something that I know I do and I've heard from her.
Yeah, she did say that, and I read something else or learned something else or whatever that was like, people will decide to keep watching or not within the first 30 seconds. And I would say that's even smaller on Instagram. I would say YouTube has like a little bit longer of a time frame, kind of like what Renee was saying. I would say Instagram, it's a little bit shorter.
Okay, Alex was wondering, so you don't go live on YouTube, like you just will do like an Instagram story, but then you might save